Well, it's Monday and it's time for another selfie. I don't think we're going to get to a show this week either. We got to do a little bit of tidying up around here because we got our modelers meet and greet on Saturday. Any of you that live in the local area, or even those of you who own your own helicopter or plane, might want to come out and join us here in Ventura for Saturday's meet and greet, modelers meet and greet. Also, don't forget we're building this, and I want to thank everyone that's been sending in their donations to get themselves printed and put on board. It's a huge help in building this model. Ken got some really good figures printed. I'll post the pictures later tonight. They're probably posted by the time you see this. What else? I'm working on the Enterprise, I'm working on the TWA, and that brings me to this. Thank you, Scott Alexander, very much for sending me the following items, which I will now show you on video. First up, I got this box from him, and you'll see there are vinyl painting masks for the TWA. I know I've got the decals, but Scott told me that what happens to the decals is that they're somewhat transparent. That is, the white will show through them from the hull, and so it won't match to your paint, your red paint. So rather than do it that way, use your same red paint to mask and spray on with paint, which is always better anyway, the decals or the markings, TWA. Also, upstairs here, I'll run up here really quick, we've got the TWA over here, and I am working on it again. As you'll see, I've pulled out the cockpit, but this is the reason why. Scott sent this along too. Now this is brass cast. You can see the stem there, which I filed off. It's very strong. You cannot bend this, and very precise and very accurate. So this is really what we want. And of course, when I put it on here, it didn't fit over my cockpit, so I'm readjusting it. And in fact, I've made a new dashboard, much better than the one I had before. So next up is to get this into here, and then this into there, and this to fit. And also, Masterpiece's vacuum form does not fit Scott's, so I'm going to make it fit by cutting the top off, I think is mainly what has to happen, and push it up in there. And of course, down here I'm working on the Enterprise on the engineering section, and I found some voids in it. So, you know, rather than cast another one, I filled the voids. They weren't near the windows. They were in places that weren't too precarious. You can see this has been opened up now for our hangar bay, which will be open, and you'll be able to see in there. You can see how well the windows show up markings once I rub that dust into them. We had a little bit of repair work to do there on this one too, a little bit down there. So I'm going to sand this down here in a second, primer it, and I can start cutting windows out. As you can see, this is really looking a lot better than it did before. I'm a lot happy with it, and it really lights up well now, and the dashboard's a lot better. And once we get the canopy on it, that takes care of these little areas you see here, because it goes right down into there, so you don't even see that. So I got one seat here, it's kind of crooked. I don't know why that is, but I'll fix that before I close it. But really, you can't even see that seat back in there. But that looks just tremendous. And you notice that the radar screen looks like a radar screen. It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of Sharpie, which is what's on there. So this is a little bit of electrical tape I put here. You won't see that. That's just hot glue underneath it, because I'm going to peel it up and remove it. But other than that, I mean, this really looks really good. I'm happy. So using the new canopy, the brass one from Scott Alexander, I was able to use the original vacuum form for these, the front window and the two side windows. There's a nice little slot in there. You can't see it, but there's a slot for it to groove right in. And he's done the same thing down the side here, which is really a good idea, because the windows are now, once they're in, level with the interior, and they fit in those little notches like you see. And I used some canopy glue on it, and this didn't quite fit right, so we're forcing it down. I'm going to stick this in the oven, the air circulator oven, and dry this out really good, and then we're going to put it upstairs on top of the rocket and see how it looks. And I forgot to mention, it is painted white now, so which is why I'm putting the glass in now. You're probably wondering about that. And yes, I do have to paint and blend this in, but I'll be able to mask it off. Really gives you an idea what it really looks like to my eye when I'm looking at it in the dark. I mean, it's just really, really fun, you know? Really fun. And that looks like more and more like a radar now. And we can see all the way outside through the other set of windows. Really nice, and all the reflection up inside from them. So that was great. Of course, these I got to cut out some little clear plastic discs for and put in here. That'll be coming up next. I have been working off and on these all day, and they had a lot of problems because the molds are really getting quite warped. Oh, I got some wet paint in there on my hands. Oh, that's always fun. But they're really, really much improved now. I got most of the really bad stuff out. And there'll be some work. I'll go back over it again with some red putty, and I'll get every single last, like those two little dings there. Those will all be gone. The nice thing is about being the guy who made these masters in the first place before the molds went bad, I know exactly what to do to them to get them to look good again. So these come out really, really well. Boy, you know, because they really were in bad shape. So we'll be able to put those together tomorrow, see how they fit. And I'll be able to start cutting out those windows. Let's see, there they are. So I got to do all that. We'll start cutting out windows tomorrow, and we'll really start having a good look at this. And next up, of course, we'll be able to do these and the pylons. And the pylons are in two pieces this time because we're going to have that aluminum armature of Ken's that he's cutting on his CO2 laser to go inside and support to here. So these are going to require some work too, although the molds are in pretty good shape and I don't feel any real bad stuff like I did on these. So, but it's all shaping up good. Well, that's our selfie for today. Don't forget to go to our website and visit our website. Check out our store there where you can buy all kinds of neat things, and there's a donation button for building this model for the Museum of Science Fiction, and that will be in Washington, D.C. To go to the website, you go to museumofsciencefiction.org, and if you donate more than $100 to the construction of this model for this nonprofit build that we're doing this for the museum for free, you will actually get a tiny little 3D figure of yourself printed and placed somewhere on this ship that will be located by a chart that will be underneath the model. It might even be on a computer. There will also be a plaque, and anyone who contributes any money at all to helping this model get finished for the museum gets their name on that plaque. So go to our website, which is www.steveneillsgarage.com, and don't forget to visit also the museum website itself. Ken Palco is the one who's making the little figures. He's also making the bridge, the hangar bay, a bunch of rooms that you can look through the windows and see. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you can actually see through the windows. Not this model's built Canon. The one we're building now actually has clear windows you can see, and so that's pretty cool. Well, that wraps it up for today. We'll see you tomorrow.